Crespo is going to be host for Let's Talk Football, the round table. And Let's Talk Football ladies takeover.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy 2024. Delilah Crespo here with another episode of Diversity with Delilah. Sorry, I was out for a few weeks. It was the holidays, and then I got sick. But I'm back with another episode. Diversity with Delilah will keep going, all right? So I'm bringing you Mike Tomlin as our first person I'm covering for 2024 because they're in the playoffs, right? So Steelers are in the playoffs with Mr. Head Coach Mike Tomlin. All right, let's get into it. So he's born and raised Virginia boy, in case you all didn't know that. So he graduated from Denby High School in Newport News, Virginia. He graduated from the College of William and Mary with a degree in sociology. He's also a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. I like mentioning fraternities for Mr. Anthony Handy. He loves it because he's also a member of fraternity. So anytime I cover anyone that's in a fraternity, I like sharing that. So he is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. So, Tomlin's coaching career actually began in 1995 as the wide receiver coach at Virginia Military Institute under then head coach Bill Stewart. Tomlin spent the 96 season as a graduate assistant at the University of Memphis, where he worked with the defensive backs and special teams coaches. Following a brief stint at the University of Tennessee at Martin's coaching staff, Tomlin was hired by Arkansas State University in 1997 to coach his defensive backs. He stayed there for 2 seasons before being hired as the defensive backs coach by the University of Cincinnati. Tomlin was hired as a defensive backs coach for the Tampa Bay Bucks in 2001 under head coach Tony Dungy. I've covered Tony Dungy in a previous series. I think last year I covered Mr. Tony Dungy during one of my Diversity with Delilah episodes. So he had a really good mentor there in Tony Dungy, where Tampa Tomlin learned under Tony Dungy when he was the defensive backs coach for Tampa Bay. He learned the Tampa 2 defense that he would use later on in his coaching jobs. He brought that type of defense with him. Tomlin was retained under the new head coach, John Gruden. And in 2002 and 2005, the Bucks led the NFL in total defense. That means fewest yards allowed per game. During Tomlin's tenure, the defense never ranked worse than 6th overall. When the Bucks won Super Bowl 37 in January 2003, the team recorded a Super Bowl record 5 interceptions. 3 of those were returned for touchdowns. After spending he also, after working, coaching for Tampa, he actually went to the Vikings, and he was their defensive coordinator for a few seasons. So after spending 2006 as the Vikings defensive coordinator, Tomlin was selected to interview for the vacant head coaching position with the 2005 Super Bowl championship Pittsburgh Steelers. With only 1 year of experience as defensive coordinator, Tomlin was hired on January 27, 2007 to become the 16th head coach in franchise history, replacing Bill Cowher. So this came with a lot of controversy at the time because people didn't think he had a lot of experience because, as they were saying, a lot of it was on defense. And also, he was defensive backs coach, and then he spent only 1 season as defensive coordinator. So there were some people who questioned that hiring at the time, not seeing the type of experience that they were looking for. But as we know, it paid off for the Steelers, right? But anyway, so he replaced Bill Cowher, who retired after spending 15 years with the team. Tomlin had also interviewed during that same time for the head coaching vacancy with the Miami Dolphins. That job went to Cam Cameron, as we know. So Mr. Tomlin went on to coach for the Steelers. So Tomlin is the 10th African-American head coach in NFL history. He's the first for the Steelers franchise. Steelers owner Dan Rooney has served as the head of the NFL's diversity committee, and he's all proposed the Rooney Rule. That's where we got that, requiring teams to interview at least one minority candidate when they're trying to decide and hire a new head coach. I know that comes with a lot of controversy, but that's where it comes from, the Rooney Rule. Rooney himself has questioned how well or not that rule has gone. But hey, you know what? If we look at it today, there are 3 black head coaches in the playoffs currently this year. So I don't know if it's because of Rooney. I'm just saying we are seeing more head coaches of color. There are 4 head coaches actually of color in the playoffs this playoff season. With Michael McDaniel, he's biracial. People forget he's black and Caucasian. You know, he needs to be brought up in these conversations as well. He gets kind of forgotten about. But anyway, I'm digressing. Let's continue with Mr. Mike Tomlin. So again, in 2007, the Steelers finished with the top-ranked defense in the NFL. Tomlin led the Steelers to the 2007 AFC North Division Championship and a 10-6 record in his first year as head coach. So right from the get-go, he's had winning seasons. And we already know, we talked about his winning seasons, but from the beginning, they won the division, but they didn't go further in the playoffs. But they did win the division. Tomlin set a Steelers record for most wins after winning 22 games in his first 2 seasons as head coach. In addition, he became the first Steelers coach to win division titles in his first 2 seasons. Alrighty. When the Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens in the 2008 AFC Championship game, Tomlin became the youngest NFL head coach to lead his team to a Super Bowl. He also became the 3rd black coach to coach a team in the Super Bowl because he followed the footsteps of Coach Lovie Smith and Coach Tony Dungy, who actually, they were the coaches in Super Bowl 41, my Chicago Bears under Lovie Smith, and the Indianapolis Colts under Tony Dungy. We know who won that Super Bowl. But anyway, so Tomlin became the 3rd black coach to coach a Super Bowl team. After 2 seasons with a record of 22-10, Tomlin was the winningest head coach in Steelers history based on win percentage with 68.8%. On January 29, 2009, Tomlin was named the 2008 Motorola NFL Coach of the Year. 3 days later, at the age of 36, he became the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl when the Steelers defeated the Arizona Cardinals in Super Bowl 43 by a score of 27-23. The previous record was held by his former coach and mentor, John Gruden, who at 39 won Super Bowl 37 with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, Mike Tomlin has 2 Super Bowl wins as a coach. One as a head coach and one when he was a defensive coach for Tampa. So, there you go. Mike Tomlin, 2 Super Bowl wins under his belt, both in coaching. One as head coach and then one when he was a coach for Tampa on the defensive side. On July 13, 2010, Mike Tomlin signed a 3-year contract extension with the Steelers. That season, he coached the Steelers to a 12-4 record and led them to another Super Bowl, the second one in 3 years. This was Super Bowl 45, where they played against Green Bay, and we know that Green Bay actually won that Super Bowl with a score of 31-25. So, Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing season since his tenure as head coach for the Steelers. He has 17 straight non-losing seasons. Just so you know, Tomlin's current deal is set to expire after the 2024 season, while the Steelers reportedly are wanting to keep him, right? And Tomlin has also shared he doesn't want to leave. We'll see what happens with that. So again, his contract is set to expire after the 2024 season. So not this season, the upcoming season. It's set to expire. Both parties seem to not want to part ways, but I guess, who knows? Things always change. But anyway, there you go, Mr. Mike Tomlin. Let's see how far the Steelers go this season. But again, he hasn't had a losing season yet in his tenure as the head coach for the Steelers. So there you have it. On this episode of Diversity with Delilah. Tune in next Monday when there will be another episode with someone else. I'll bring up another topic. All right. Again, happy 2024. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah.